All right, today we're diving into one of the most powerful and, honestly, mysterious forces on our entire planet. They're not really alive, but they've been shaping life for millennia. We are, of course, talking about viruses. And this is the story of the ancient hijackers. Long before we even had a name for them, humanity was already in this epic struggle with viruses. And this slide, wow, it shows some pretty haunting evidence of that ancient conflict. If you look on the left, that's an Egyptian stele. It's over 3,000 years old, and it shows a priest with a withered leg, a classic, unmistakable sign of polio. Then on the right, that's the mummified head of Pharaoh Ramses V, and you can see lesions all over that are consistent with smallpox. So, yeah, this is not some modern problem. This is an ancient, deeply personal part of our history. So that really brings us to the big question, right? What exactly is this invisible force? This thing that's been changing the course of human history for thousands and thousands of years? Well, to figure that out, we've got to start with a definition.
Okay, let's get into it. Defining the hijacker. And trust me, you're about to see just how perfectly that name fits.
So here's the official, kinda science-y definition. A virus is a submicroscopic, obligate intracellular parasite. Whoa, okay, that's a mouthful. Let's break that down. Submicroscopic just means they're ridiculously, impossibly small. But the real key phrase here, the one that defines everything about them, is obligate intracellular parasite. All that means is they absolutely have to get inside a living cell to do anything. On their own, they're like these metabolically inert ghosts. But once they're inside, they become the ultimate hijackers, turning the cell's own machinery against itself just to build a massive army of copies.
And this is really where you see why viruses are in that weird gray area between living and not living. Think of a cell as this bustling, active factory. It's got energy, it's making things. A virus, on its own, it's just inert. It's got no power, no ribosomes to build proteins, no way to do anything at all. And here's a huge difference. Your cells have both DNA and RNA. A virus only carries one or the other. That's its simple, brutally efficient blueprint for the takeover.
So, if a virus is a hijacker, what's in its toolkit? Let's take a look at the anatomy of this incredibly efficient and kind of scary little machine.
First off, look at the incredible diversity here. You've got everything from these simple little rods to these super complex structures that look like something out of science fiction, like tiny lunar landers. The variety is absolutely staggering. But for all their different looks, they're all built from the same basic parts. And each part has a very specific job to do in the hijack. So every single virus has a toolkit with at least 2 and sometimes 3 crucial components. Let's stick with our hijacker analogy. You've got the blueprint, the armor, and for some of them, a very clever disguise. All right, let's see what each one of these does.
Right at the heart of it all, you have the blueprint. That's the viral genome. This is literally the instruction manual for the takeover. It's written in either DNA or RNA, and it's got all the info a hijacked cell needs to just stop what it's doing, forget its old job, and start churning out thousands of perfect copies of its new viral master.
Okay, so protecting that all-important blueprint is the armor. This is a protein shell called the capsid, and don't think of it as just a simple box. It's more like a multi-tool. For one, it's super tough, so it protects the genetic code on its journey, but it's also covered in these little structures that act like keys, and they're perfectly shaped to fit the locks on our own cells. That's how the virus latches on and breaks its way inside.
And then, for some viruses, we have the most cunning tool of all, the disguise. This is called the envelope. Now get this. When these viruses leave a host cell, they literally steal a piece of the cell's own outer membrane and wrap themselves in it. It's an absolutely brilliant strategy. By cloaking themselves in a piece of self, they can sneak around the body like a ghost, totally evading the patrols of our immune system.
Okay, so this one difference, having a disguise or not, creates 2 totally different strategies for survival. Let's compare the naked viruses with the enveloped ones.
And this is where you really see how their structure completely dictates their strategy. The naked virus, with just that tough protein armor, is incredibly stable. It can survive on a doorknob, in dust, it can even survive the crazy harsh acid in our gut. But the enveloped viruses, they're actually pretty fragile. That lipid disguise they stole gets destroyed really easily by things like soap, heat, or just drying out. And that's why they have to be transmitted through direct contact, through droplets, secretions, blood. It even changes their escape plan. Naked viruses just burst out, totally destroying the cell. But enveloped viruses can just kind of butt off. really stealthily, sometimes even leaving the cell alive so it can keep making more of them. Pretty clever, huh?
So, once you understand these basic building blocks, you start to realize we're looking at an entire universe of viral diversity, one that's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
I mean, just let this quote sink in for a second. There is more biological diversity within viruses than in all the rest of the bacterial, plant, and animal kingdoms put together. That's astounding. Think about all the variety you see in the world, all the animals, all the plants, and it's nothing compared to the diversity in the viral world. They are, without a doubt, the true masters of evolution.
And if you want to put that diversity into terms of sheer numbers, well, get ready. Scientists estimate there are over 10 nonillion virus particles on Earth. That is a 10 with 31 zeros after it. It's a number so huge it's more than every single star in the entire known universe. They're literally everywhere, in the deepest oceans, in the soil under your feet, and inside every living thing, including you and me.
And that brings us to a really humbling final thought. For everything we've managed to learn about these ancient hijackers, their long history with us, their incredible structures, their clever strategies, we've barely, and I mean barely, scratched the surface. The vast, vast majority of the viral universe is still a complete mystery to us. So the real question that leaves us with is, if this is all the incredible diversity we already know about, what else is out there? What are we yet to discover shaping our world right now in ways we can't even begin to imagine?